Alrighty then, it's time for a Jungle Nidalee game, and this is the first I've ever uploaded on this channel. Which one? Thing is, I suck with her. This title is not for you, it's for me. I have played her before, I know what she wants to do, I know what you're supposed to try to achieve, but I've sucked with her, and I just sort of gave her up. So now since I have myself a lot of free time, I decided I might as well try picking her up again. And I'll tell you, I've had quite a blast. This isn't the only game I played with Nidalee today, and it will definitely not be the only ones. Thing is, I'm the type of person who sort of learns by proxy. I can suck as a champion or in a new game or something, but I can learn it very quickly simply by watching other people kick my ass or watching them kick ass with said champion and sort of using them as a reference point. And not being afraid of, ask a lot of questions. You can see me fuck up here. I miss my Q, I fuck up my pounces, that kind of shit. I'm not very good mechanically with her yet, but as you see as this game progresses, I'll slowly get better because I'm doing several things. One, every time I mess up or something just doesn't seem to work, I remember watching another Nidalee play and try to sort of compare as to what they were doing and why I'm not getting the results I want. Second, I immediately say, okay, this doesn't work. I'm just going to completely discard it and try something completely different. One of the first things you can do is watch my ability usage. I'm actually fucking up my pounds several times, forgetting how to use it or just using it in general, and also not prepping my Q and my E to do a big amount of burst damage. So you'll sometimes see me pouncing on someone using my Q, but not follow it up with my E, pounce in, miss my Q and my E, and even when I should have just sort of prepped it to do some kind of big old cat missile burst damage kind of thing. Slowly and surely I'm starting to learn that because I'm realizing this is what I should be doing. I've watched other players do the amount of burst damage and I'm sort of referencing them. This is a very good way to learn. Remember anyone you've ever seen to play and try to, anything you've seen them sort of, this is how it worked for them, emulate it. Try as much as possible to emulate it. Even if you don't understand it, maybe you will after you see it work out. You'll have a sort of a eureka moment. Oh, this is the reason why that worked. This is why I should have been doing this from the get-go. That's a pretty easy or good way to learn something. And it's in general kind of how I've always learned anything. Anyone who's better than me, I'll try to emulate them and copy them on whatever. It seems to have worked so far, and there's no real shame in doing that. I mean, that's why better players exist, to learn from them. That's why probably some of you are watching this because you're bronze players and you see me as someone you can learn from. In the case of Nidalee, though, we'll be basically learning together. So, I mean, the jungle Nidalee control thing, or the amount of damage she could do or chase potential she has, I know that for sure, so which is why I didn't give up on chasing down the Gragas or just accept my death here. Instead, I sort of kited them around after waiting for them to use their abilities and then sort of just pouncing around. You'll see me slowly kind of try to figure out which walls I could pounce over. I know she can jump through most thin walls and most walls in general, but I don't know exactly which ones she can't. So it's sort of a, taking a risk and then failing and then just trying something completely different. You see here, I'm getting a bit more confident. Last time I tried ganking Talia, I got mega chunked and then it flashed out because I thought I was going to die. But now I'm sort of starting to realize, oh, I can do these, I can control this much pressure, I can do this much damage and expect to take this much and heal this much. So it's just sort of a slow crawl. Think of it sort of as a skill tree. Like when you're leveling up as some new champion or something. Like, oh, you're playing as Nidalee, level 1. Oh, you become a level 2 player when you've mastered her pounce. You become a level 3 when you've mastered her clear. You become a level 4 when you've mastered throwing her spears. That's also kind of why I think the mastery system in League of Legends is really stupid, because it doesn't actually showcase that you know how to play a champion. You just sort of just play her. And also, some of you are going to question Stonewall. If you suck with Nidalee, why do you have your skins? I actually have 5 Nidalee skins, and I'll tell you, I've never bought a single one. I got them all through mystery gifts, because whatever RNG is behind the mystery gifts, it likes to troll the living shit out of me. Either way, yeah, we're definitely stopping the early game right now. Me and the Blitzcrank are working together to sort of make the Gragas' life a living hell, controlling the map with wards and the occasional traps. And as you can see, I'm starting to not fail my forgot what her path. Oh yeah, it's called on the hunt. they're on the hunt passive, and you either triggering it through a Q or triggering it with a W. In that case, it just failed because the small minion happened to have been dead, so I actually didn't hit it. And nonetheless, just sort of trying my very best to try to get the Q angle right. I feel once I master landing her Q, my ability to play Nidalee is going to skyrocket to levels unheard of for me at the very least. And the reason I decided to just try her again is because, as you guys know, she's like the queen bitch jungle right now for control jungling. Anyhow, this reminds me of a story someone mentioned in the Facebook fan page. I was asking the players about how do they learn to play their favorite champions or their mains or whatever. And someone brought up the story about when they were trying to learn Zed, that they just couldn't do enough damage as Zed with the ultimate. The thing is, he had learned it improperly. He was using his ultimate after having already used all his abilities, and of course was doing basically no damage. He was pissed, thought Zed sucked, and then he watched his friend, who was a higher level player than him, I believe Diamond, use his ultimate, follow it up with a bunch of abilities, amplify that dot damage, and destroy people. And he realized to himself, holy shit, I suck. I've been doing it wrong this entire time. He changed the way he played Zed, and as such, he became a lot better. And the thing is, as cliche as this might sound, a lot of players just simply don't understand that they need to ask for help. It's not wrong to admit you don't know something. A lot of players at this point, not even just for League, have become sort of, it's become very stigmatized to just admit you don't know anything. Which is kind of weird considering when you go to school, or college, not knowing anything, and you're completely fine with that. I don't know anything about quantum physics. Please teach me. I don't know how to do 2 + 2. Is it 7? Okay, you expect to learn it. Someone is gonna teach you. In the League, it's sort of the same thing. There are obviously some players who aren't good. I mean, as good as some other ones, just naturally, and thus they need to learn to become better. Everyone definitely has the potential to learn or become better, but they just kind of have to put in that sort of effort. Yes, it's sort of unfair that some people can just somehow pick up a new champion and become Jesus all of a sudden. But like most anything in life, if you don't get it naturally, if you're not just good on your own, then you got to get smart and you got to get better, and you can get better that way. And that's kind of the main point I'm putting out here. I just sort of, I went through a kind of a very depressing moment. If you go to the Facebook fan page, you can read all about it there. It's a big old wall of text. It's pretty miserable. And, I mean, my morale was super high up ever since getting the job. But, and I just told myself, okay, you know what? While I was working, the first day of work, I completely sucked. I actually destroyed a vat of maize, which is the thing that you make corn masa out of to make tortillas and stuff. I didn't necessarily destroy it, but I lowered its quality by overheating it. And I was super destroyed in the first day of work, and I was feeling super down. But then the next day, I did better. And then the next day, I did better. And then eventually, one of the things that I couldn't get down was packing at a lightning pace that these guys were doing it. I mean, they could pack like 100 tortillas in about 10 seconds, and tie it up completely in a neatly fashion. And I couldn't get it down quickly enough. And then after a couple days of practicing, asking them, let me see your hands, let me see how you hold it, can you do it slow and everything. I learned that shit. And with that in mind, this is the only reason I decided to play Nidalee. She's always been a sort of morale destroyer to my soul or something. Like, I just can't pick her up. I'm terrible at her. And I would just kind of avoid playing her, even though she's such a very good champion. Even though she's a champion that wouldn't probably fit my playstyle because of how controlly she is. I just didn't try because I felt bad. It felt bad being bad at a champion. And getting the job sort of made me realize I gotta stop being a little bitch about this. Remember how it was in school, where I would go out to a teacher and like, oh, can you help me how to do this? I don't know how to do this and get better. And that's how I got I had really good grades, but it wasn't easy for me. I wasn't, the kid genius kind of thing. I was the kid who always failed the first tests and then did the retests, or fucked up the first homework and then asked the teacher how to do it and then got it right the next time. And there you go. Sort of remembering this for Nidalee and everything. You can see throughout this game I'm progressively getting better. Some of my teammates in this pre-made are coached me a little bit, telling me how to use the abilities, or like, oh, preempt your Q to do it with your W and then use your E. I still don't have to pounce Q into the E combo quite right yet. But as you can see, I'm getting a lot of other things done. I'm becoming more mobile. I'm becoming more responsive at Nidalee, and just in general, remembering to use her abilities properly. And that comes with asking other people, referencing the players I've already seen do well with her, my general jungle experience and League of Legends experience sort of chiming in and getting it in there with comparisons and references, and in general just not letting my mistakes sort of tear me to shreds like they used to. So yeah, I'll be having such a huge blast to play Nidalee today, and I'm gonna decide to play her a bit more. So if you see more Nidalee games, I'm hoping you guys may be able to see me progressively get better than as the game goes on. Now, as you can see, the game is basically wrapping up. I'm doing the usual Nidalee thing, which is spam Qs in the background, hoping to chunk someone down, but my teammates sort of siege them forward and push ahead. We got one of theirs down, and we're just sort of waiting for them to get collapsed on. We kill the Zyra, we give chase to the Lucian and the Gragas right now. Let's see, chunk, chunk, chunk. Chase after Flash, kill the Lucian, and then kill the Gragas, and hooray for us, we basically win. Unfortunately, the latest patch has basically killed the the replays, and we win. You can see the surrender in the background, but the game basically crashed, and I can't really finish and show the explosion. So I will show another game's explosion unrelated to this one completely. Hooray! This channel is supported by my sponsors, Crunchyroll and Loot Crate. Check out the description below for links to the websites. Signing up for any trials, including Crunchyroll's free anime trial, greatly supports my channel. Also remember to give the video a like to support the channel, and subscribe if you haven't yet. I've also made a Patreon now, and if you wish to support me through that medium, then I welcome it.